Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. I hope you enjoy the video.
Fly to San Diego for work last week at 30-ish weeks pregnant. Bear with me, I know Reddit hates pregnant people, but I really think I handled this one the right way. I was flying American Airlines, and when you book your flight, you pick your seat. I booked a few weeks in advance and chose a seat that was towards the middle of the plane closest to the bathroom, and I selected an aisle seat. I paid $78 for my seat because it's considered a premium seat due to legroom. My return flight was a red-eye, and as I waited at the airport to check the seats for any closer to the restroom, I noticed that the row I selected as well as the one directly across were mostly empty. Great. I don't mind getting up to move for others on a flight. I usually would take the window seat, but due to being so far into pregnancy, I was advised by my OB to get up every 1 to 2 hours and walk around to avoid the risk of blood clots. She also wanted me to drink a lot of water on the flight, hence the proximity to the bathroom. Because of this, I booked an aisle seat, partially for convenience, but also so I wouldn't have to bother or potentially wake sleeping passengers on an 8-hour red-eye every 1 to 2 hours to walk around or pee. As I said, I paid a fee for this assigned seat. So boarding happens and I see that the flight has filled out a bit and now there are no empty seats in either row. No issue. I've made the necessary accommodations and I'm not relying on empty seats on anyone else to do any type of switch, so this doesn't impact me at all. If people need to get up and move, great. A reminder for me to get some steps in. I'm sitting in my seat and the woman who will be taking the window seat boards, and we chat a bit, and she says not to worry, she won't be a bother getting up and down as she plans to sleep, and I tell her not to worry, if she needs to get up she won't be bothering me, and tell her I have to get up to walk anyway. Towards the end of boarding, a very, very tall man comes and he's in the aisle helping a woman who is in the aisle seat next to mine, but like across the aisle if that makes sense, to put her bag in the overhead bin. At this point, I have my AirPods in, but I'm on alert as I'm aware there is someone in the middle seat and I'll have to get up and let them in. It becomes apparent that this man has the middle seat in my row while his wife has the aisle seat next to mine, so I am essentially sat right between them. I pull out my headphones and offer to switch aisle seats so they can sit next to one another. There is a bit of a language barrier and she gestures next to her at a boy, maybe 8 to 10 years old, and says this is her son and she doesn't want to leave him alone in the row. So I nod and say okay. Totally makes sense, and stand to let her husband into the middle seat. Here's where I was called entitled. The man asks for me to switch with him, so he can sit next to his wife. Thinking maybe it didn't register to him that I am pregnant, I jokingly gestured to my very obvious bump and explained the bathroom and the frequent walks. He says he doesn't mind. He will get up. I said no, I'm sorry, I paid for the aisle seat so that I would be able to get up and move freely as needed during the flight and not have to disturb anyone. He again insisted that he needed to be able to sit with his wife and child, and I suggested they speak to the flight attendant about moving seats. The FA obviously didn't have much of a solution for them, so they spent the entire flight leaning across me to talk to one another, passing drinks and snacks across my lap, blocking my laptop screen, and getting up and down frequently to make me suffer. Fine. Whatever. Doesn't bother me. However, when there started to be a frequency of elbows to my baby bump during their discussions, I let the FA know what was going on, and they were told to stop reaching across me. My husband says I was entitled and playing the pregnancy card. Is he right? For those of you who aren't familiar with my stories, I, 31F, have a man-child entitled brother, 26M, who lives in the house I co-own with my mom. My mom has told him he has until May 31st to move out. I've been anxiously waiting for him to leave, doing my best to bide my time, but I have finally reached the end of my rope, and for something that I'm not sure is the straw or the log that broke the camel's back. Last night while I was in bed, entitled bro informed me he would be taking my dog, Spot, for 3 days on some fishing trip. I told him there's no way he could do that. He said he wasn't asking, he was telling me. He said he's my dog too, and that he is entitled to take him whenever he pleases. Here's the thing though. 9 years ago, entitled brother demanded a dog. I begged my mom not to. He had one previously, but he neglected it, and my mom ended up rehoming it, for which he never let her hear the end of. But of course she caved, and the same problem persisted. Entitled bro never cared for Spot. I ended up taking over his care, paid for his vet bills, fed him, took him to get groomed, etc. Things came to a head when we had to move in with family members, and they said we were not allowed to bring a dog. Entitled bro didn't do anything to find Spot a new home. It was my problem. I found him a foster home, where I visited him every day after my college classes ended, and was able to get him back 2 years later when we finally had a place to live again. Additionally, when I moved out of my house for a year, Spot went with me. Spot sleeps with me every night and has my name on all of his records. He's now 10 and has arthritis. He takes meds for his hips and his stomach and needs frequent bathroom breaks. Oh, and he hates the water. So when little bro said he wasn't asking me, he was telling me. I knew that Spot would be miserable and possibly in pain that whole trip. He hadn't asked or even mentioned taking Spot before, so he is due for a refill on his pills tomorrow. Had I known, I would have gotten the refill sooner. I tried telling him Spot needs a lot of care, and he said, yeah, so just give me everything he needs, and I was so irritated. You wait until the night before to tell me this? Then he said something that made my blood run cold. I could have just taken him and let you panic, but I was being nice telling you ahead of time. That did it. I don't know why, but every alarm bell went off in my head. I grabbed my purse, put on my slippers, and told Spot to get in the car. I drove to my fiancé's house and slept here last night. I was going to move into fiancé's house this summer, but now I'm asking myself why the hell I'm waiting. Everyone on Reddit keeps asking me why I stay home, and right now I can't remember any of the reasons I had before. I'm done. My mom is staying out of it right now, and I'm glad, because I genuinely don't care what she has to say. I know she doesn't want me to go, but I just can't take entitled bro's little power trips. He can do whatever he wants to the house, punching holes in the walls, kicking the appliances, calling the house a dump, but I draw the line at him taking my dog without my permission. That's my baby, and I'm not going to just stand by while he does whatever he wants with my pet when I explicitly told him no, something that he rarely hears. P.S. I occasionally have asked bro to let Spot out for bathroom breaks, since he doesn't work until the afternoon, and his response is always he's too busy to do that. He has given me no reason to trust him to care for my dog for even a few hours, let alone 3 days on a fishing trip. Edit. Brother does not know where fiancé lives, and even if he did, fiancé's 2 huge German shepherds would devour him.